What'd she say?
And now it's time for Jeff Kuypers. How yummy, something where I don't have to chew. And that was what that was all about. It was like, oh, light, you know. And that's why I'm taking drugs now. You saw me taking drugs because it's pain and antibiotics and fun stuff. Hi. And speaking of fun stuff, I'm going to share with you a couple poems from this book that was released today. On the Edge. And yay for that, I guess. Yippee skippy. You know, it's just a day, whatever. But this is another Dreams poem just because I read a Dreams one before. This one is called, it's Dreams 12-3-13, Out of Place. I was leaving one of my fallback hangouts in Chicago in the middle of a dreary, cloudy day, not unlike today. I apparently was there alone, but I ran into someone I was once friends with. We broke off our friendship years ago, but we attempted to talk, to be cordial, amongst all the, trying to, almost an attempt to try to rekindle a friendship maybe, though being together seemed disjointed and out of place. As we were leaving to go our separate ways, leave and go our separate ways and drive to our separate lives, I asked what she was doing later. She said she couldn't, and she had plans. I had never invited her anywhere. I had never asked about her children or where they were. She just cut me off and told me that she couldn't. She then looked at the rows of Chicago houses on the block where we walked. I always liked the square homes there with flat roofs. This neighborhood was always my favorite place to live. And she looked, mentioned someone living in a Chicago house like this, and she finally said that she couldn't live like this. The second floor, the way it's slanted, you probably can't feel it, but anything can come sliding off that floor. And I just looked over and I couldn't see what this, all I could see at the time was this vibrantly colored bird sliding off a slanted window, waiting and falling into a plant bed in front of the house, hitting a wooden stake and disappearing into the folds of the greenery. I don't know if this colored bird actually lived, but I couldn't see any trace of that bird moving again. You see, we were once friends. We used to be close. We laughed and gossiped back when she thought I was her best friend. But I know how morally different we were. She could be cordial, but I know what's underneath her facade. Because even if we tried, I know we'd never get that friendship back again. On this note, I have got a piece here that is called You Are a Force. You are a force. Is your beauty, is your soul causing my attraction to you? Is this a force of nature? Are you like gravity, dropping me to my knees whenever I think of you? Or are you like magnetism, how my needs only magnified as I draw closer to you, giving me impetus to increase my velocity, to join you, to bond with you? That's the only way I can explain this, you know. I know your momentum. I know this special relativity causes this action-reaction. You must have a power no one else has harnessed to do this to me. This electric force between us excites me and burns me and still curls me in an arc to you. But this friction, this tension I feel when we're apart snaps me with an elastic force, reminds me that I must abide by the laws of motion when it comes to you. Because, as I said, like your dynamic equilibrium, you must be a force of nature. to share one with you here. When I was talking about living the day in the life of different people, and I think I talked about, if you could do a day as one person, and you could theorize and do many. And I started talking a bit about Jefferson, or the Founding Fathers, which is why I have this poem that I'd like to share with you. It's called The State of the Nation. My phone rang earlier today, and I picked it up and I said, hello. And a man at the other end said, is this Gina Kuypers? And I said, yes, it is. May I ask who's calling? And he said, yeah, hi, this is George Washington, and I'm sitting here with Jefferson and a couple other us guys, and we just wanted to tell you a few things. And I said, why me? And he said, excuse me. I believe I said I was the one that wanted to do all the talking. God, that is a problem with Americans nowadays. They're so damn rude. And I said, you really didn't need to use language like that. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, it's just that I've been dead for so long, I lose all control of my manners. Well, anyway, as I was saying, we just wanted to tell you a few things. And now, I know how we didn't have much of an idea of what we were doing when we started this country here. I mean, we didn't have much experience in creating bodies of power. So I can understand how our Constitution could be misconstrued. And then he put in a dramatic pause, and he said, but when we said that people had a right to bear arms, we meant to protect yourselves from a government gone wrong, and not so that you can kill someone in an ATM machine for $20 cash. And when we said freedom of religion, we included the idea, the idea of the separation of church and state, because freedom of religion could mean freedom from religion. And when we said freedom of speech, we had no idea that you'd be burning the flag, or painting pictures of Christ doused in urine, or photographing people with whips up their respective anatomies. But I guess we have to grin and bear it, because if we ban that, the next thing they'll ban is books, and we can't have that. And I said, but there are schools that have books banned, George.
Yeah.
And he said, oh. Thank you.